Icarus is a documentary by Brian Fogel, and it was actually the one that won the Oscar this year. And I was looking, it was actually on Netflix, so I thought I'd give it a shot. And it is a really good and really interesting documentary.
99% of Russian athletes are guilty of doping.
It's worse than we thought.
If this is true, it is an unimaginable level of criminality.
I was helping to facilitate one of the most elaborate doping ploys in sport history.
So the original goal of this documentary was this guy, Brian Fogel. He is a cyclist, and after all the stuff came out about Lance Armstrong, that he was doping the entire time, but he was like he would never test positive. He never had a positive test. So basically, he was thinking that there was this race that it's kind of amateur, but it was a really a 7-day race. It was like a tour, like Tour de France, but even harder because it's consecutive days. And he wants to, dope himself and try to get around, any testing and see if he could do it himself and see, how if it make him better or not. And when he's trying to get someone to help him, do the testing and how the, a regimen for a doping regimen, he is someone turns him on to someone that can help him, and that's Gregory Rochenkov. Sorry if I'm screwing up the name, but that it turns out to be the head of RUSADA, and the anti-doping agency in Russia. But it also turns out to be the head of the doping agency in Russia. And it's really interesting to see, their relationship build, first just on Skype, and then he comes over and they meet each other and they help him do the urine and how to test and what to do to not be caught. And then it turns into something else when stuff comes out that that Sochi and the Russia, in the Olympics in Russia, that pretty much almost everyone might have been doping, and the stuff's coming out with that, and it turns out, that Gregory is right in the middle of all this, and it turns into this other thing, the movie turns into a documentary about the Russian doping, and it is incredibly interesting, especially, you see a lot of stuff, we heard about in the news about, them having a hole in the wall which they put the samples in, and the former KGB would go and unscrew the samples and replace the pee with clean pee, and all this craziness, and it was just incredibly interesting to watch because it feels like it's gonna be something else, and it turns into that, and you see that the Gregory he comes to America and hides from Russia, but he's worried about Russia is going to murder him. As you can see right now, they're murdering people in England, that he's worried about himself. And it is a really interesting movie. It is a great documentary. It's really entertaining. Sometimes documentaries aren't that entertaining, but this one was, while it was being informative and learning about a lot of this stuff, is also very entertaining. And I think it probably deserved the Oscar. I mean, I need to see some of the other documentaries too, but I would definitely highly recommend Icarus. It's on Netflix, and if you're interested at all in all the doping stuff that's been going on, it's definitely an interesting watch. I'd probably give it an 8.75, 9 out of 10. It was really good. Thanks for watching. Each other play through my head, or subscribe to me over here. Thanks.